All right, guys, so this is Raider Hobbs and we're filming another special video today. Have you ever wondered what the entire manufacturing process looks like for one container? And as far as manufacturing process, I mean from nothing to the finished product that you see on your truck. The purpose of today's video is really to show you the POV of a container going from nothing to something. I think there's something to be said about quality manufacturing. Now, that's not to say we're the only ones that do it, but I think the craftsmanship is something that I love to point out. It's something whenever my customers are here, I like to show them why we do what we do with the floor channel spacing, with the main rails, just all of the different options we add. There's so many ways that I think our container stands out. So what I want to show you guys today is, what does that look like? What does that look like if you can't come to MAC? What does that look like going through the plant? What does that look like for a container? All right, enough talking. We'll save that for the podcast. Let's get started. All right, guys, so it's a little loud, a little bit noisy. That's what manufacturing truly is. So right here is the beginning process, guys. This is the beginning stage. So you're like, what the heck? My container starts out as this? Yes, exactly. So we've got different gauges. Every single spec that we build here is different. So what does that mean? Everything's gonna be cut and sheared different on the shear, and it's gonna be pressed different on the press. So in this beginning stage, all the metal comes in just like it was forklift into here from the trucks. Everything gets sheared, everything gets bent with the press brakes a night before we actually manufacture everything. So when you put in an order, the biggest waiting period is the queue. We actually get the container done in 2 days. So everything gets sheared and press brake the night before. Then the following day, everything gets ran. And what I mean by ran is we weld everything through, put the channel underneath the floor. We put the nose rollers, the ground rollers, all that kind of stuff. But everything starts right here with how we cut it, how everything is sheared, how everything is cut to size. Precision matters, especially when you have custom links. You could have anything from a 12-footer to a 30-footer. So everything needs to be cut according to the customer specification. So precision, quality matters, especially at this stage. So we take a lot of pride in the shears and the press brakes and getting everything cut to size here. This really lays the foundation for the rest of the can. All of the tubing, all of the sheet metal starts here. Everything is staged here before it moves through the line. Second stage of the process, once we have everything fabricated, cut to size, the foundation set, just like we talked about. The second thing that we need to do is we need to get the floors and we need to get the sides done. So why does that matter? You've got tub style cans, you got rectangle boxes as far as the sidewalls goes. We have different specs. It could be different side post spacing. As far as the floors goes, you have structural channel, 3-inch channel that goes underneath the floor. If it's a heavy duty, it could be 12-inch centers on 4-channel spacing. If it's our standard box, it could be 16-inch centers on our 4-channel spacing. But this is the integrity of the box, and this all matters for the longevity of the box. So this stage is crucially important because you've set your foundation, you've got everything cut to size. Now everything's pushing through. We're getting stuff staged and we're getting stuff set up for final welding. So we've got floors, we have sides. So this is the second part, the staging area. This is the second portion of the fabrication process. All right, so this building, we showed you the beginning process, how all of the metal, all the tubing, all the sheet steel gets forklifted in. And then we showed you the shears and the press brakes, cutting everything to size. And then we went into the floors and the sides, the channel underneath, ground rollers, nose rollers, side posts on a rectangular box. All various specs, guys, that are all being submitted by you. Now we're done with this building. So we've gotten everything through this building we need to do. Now we're gonna forklift over to the other buildings. We can finish welding out the entire container. All right, guys, so now we're moving on to the next building. In this building, we're gonna be doing all the finished stuff on the container. What do I mean by that? We're gonna be adding all the options, your angle iron, your dirt shedders, sign plates, whatever we need to add as a final option. Everything's gonna get welded and pieced together in this building. So let's come on in and let's take a look at this final building here. All right, so like I said, we're in the final stages here of the welding and the fabrication process. This is the last stage before we take everything over to paint. So everything here has been put together. They're final welding everything together, guys. So those sidewalls and that floor that you saw in the other building, everything's getting pieced together here. Like I said, any crucial options that you need get put on during this stage. So like I said, sign plates, angle iron on the top rail, dirt shedders, you know, anything that, board holders, anything that you need gets added on during this final stage. So we also make sure we go through all the welds. I'm gonna introduce you to our quality control guy here in a second. We have 2 of those here now that work at MAC. They're very crucial with their jobs, and they do a lot of behind the scenes work that doesn't really get fully appreciated. So I wanna shout out to both my QC guys, Daniel, Cruz, and Chappie. Thank you guys very much for being here and for being a part of the team. All right, guys, so today I wanted to introduce our guy behind the scenes here that's working really hard. This is Daniel Cruz. He's been here at MAC Corporation for how long? 15 years now?
Almost 15 years.
Yeah, 15 years he's been here. He's a loyal part of the MAC family. I appreciate him very much. I'm gonna get out of the way and I'm gonna show you what he looks for on these cans. So before it leaves, if there's anything we need to fix, this is the guy here. Like I said, these guys are the glue that holds us together here. They catch a lot of things before we even get to the paint room, which is huge, and before it even gets on the truck. So this job is very, very important. These guys are very skilled. They have the knowledge. They've been here quite a while now, but I just want to give a shout out to Daniel.
Okay, so I'm checking all the wood in here, the stops on the floor, all the corners, all the wood on the top, the hook going correct size, and everything. I'm checking the top rail, all the weldings going in, all right here. The lock is correct, just work correct inside, and everything here.
All right, so we're talking about final stage here. So we're putting all the finishing touches on, guys. So including, you know, latches, hinges, chain for the door. This is the final stage. And then from here, once the QC guys okay it, we're gonna go right into the paint room and we're gonna start our prep work. Let's go ahead and get in there and let's start the final stages, which is the paint process. All right, guys, so we're going into the final process here, which is paint and pre-paint, which is, you know, making sure that everything's wiped down properly so that we have a smooth surface to paint on. But we can't talk about paint without talking about Mr. Teddy Gibson here. Teddy's been with us for 41 years and he's been a part of the paint process. So he does all of our inventory and he knows what to look for on the paint. He knows what's bad, what's good. I mean, when you've been with us that many years, he has a plethora of experience. He knows a hell of a lot more about the paint than I do. So I want to give him a little introduction here real quick. I guess, do you want to just talk about your start here?
Okay, yeah, I started on second shift painting. There's a guy named Mike Gregory, painted on days. He showed me the process. Next night I was on my own. And then I've been on third, I've been on second, and I'm glad to be on first.
Yep.
And we've come a long way since then.
Yes, sir.
Because I remember we wasn't putting nothing out like this.
How many cans were we painting at that time, Teddy?
Oh,
I wasn't even born.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe front loaders and roll-offs, maybe 8 to 10 a day.
Yeah.
Now we're over 100 something a week.
Yeah. It's a lot
unreal,
of paint.
yes.
So now the inventory for you is very important, making sure that we're on top of everything. Because as you know, like the orange, you know, we ran out quick. Like 100 gallons goes pretty fast.
Yes, it does.
When you're moving this much equipment.
When you're doing it about every other day.
Yes, sir.
You know?
Yes, sir.
And our main colors right now: black,
yep,
safety red,
yep,
Home Depot orange, battleship gray,
yep,
and Hobbs beige.
There you go. Boom. What was our Have you seen that shift? What was our main color when we started? Or was it all this, was it really black and red similar?
BFI blue and Laidlaw blue, which is like a Casella blue.
Yep, yep.
But it varied. That goes way back. I don't remember all that, but I do remember the BFI blue.
Any closing remarks? Anything you want said that I appreciate?
No, thing of it is though, we're family here. I've been here, like I say, 41 years. And if I need anything, all I got to do is ask Raider or Roger, and I got it.
Yes, sir. Well, we greatly appreciate you, Teddy. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So talking about paint, we just heard from Mr. Teddy Gibson. We appreciate him very much. Thank you, Teddy, for your service here at MAC Corporation. 41 years is outstanding. So thank you, sir. But now we're getting back into paint. We're getting into pre-prep process. So why does this matter? You got to have a smooth surface here to start your primer. Now we do 2 coats of primer, so 2 passes of primer, and then we do 3 coats of paint color of your choice. But first, the most important part is we're going to wipe these containers down with the solvent, because obviously in manufacturing, things get a little bit dirty here and there. So we're gonna have a smooth surface here to apply the primer. And then what we also do is we'll take a little chipper and we'll chip off all the little weld sparks, all the little, spots where they've welded and it's not smooth. So we'll go through and we'll chip all that off. Then we'll wipe it down with the solvent. As you can see, these containers have already been pre-prepped. So now we're ready to apply our primer and our paint and then get these out on the road. All right, so now we're going into the final stage here. So we've applied our 2 coats of primer. And then now this is black, so we've applied 3 coats of our black, gloss black paint here. So now we go through, me and Daniel, this is my job, and Daniel, who you guys met earlier. We will go through and make sure that everything looks good, make sure that it's not dull, the paint, make sure that we've hit everything properly. We are a water-based solvent here, so this is all safe for us to breathe in, safe for our guys to use. So for us, that's a huge plus. But anyways, like I said, we're gonna go through everything, make sure everything got primed and painted properly before we get into the final stage, which is shipping it on the truck. All right, so we talked about going from the beginning to the end of the paint process. So I just want you guys to see, because I think this is pretty cool. This is the beginning stage. So this container hasn't been pre-prepped, nothing's been, chipped off, no solvent's been applied, versus what you get at the end. So going from the beginning of the process to the end is pretty astounding. Again, guys, all of this happens in a 2-day process. So going from the very beginning, when we came in and we were showing you how everything starts out with the sheet metal and the tubing, then we get going, we start staging all of the product, then we do the floors and the sides, then we piece everything together, as well as the options over in the other building, and then we get to the final product here, which now we're just ready to ship this out and get this over to the customer. All right, guys, so now we're in our final process of the container, which is getting shipped. So on this container, this will be going with 9 more up to our friends up at Quality Truck and Equipment up in Clare, Michigan, who I'm going to see later this week. So shout out to Quality Truck and Equipment up there. We appreciate you guys. But every can is going to be stacked or nested differently. If you've got tub styles like these, 14 and 16 footers, you could get up to 10 on a truck. But if you're doing, rectangle boxes, you may only be able to get 5 or 6. We ship all over the country. And when I mean we ship all over the country, I'm telling the truth. We ship in all 50 states, including Hawaii and Alaska. We actually have containers on order right now from Alaska. So we appreciate our guys up there, and we are very grateful for the opportunity to ship all around the country. Today, I talked to you guys about beginning to the end stage of the container. I think this is really cool, especially for people that are far in those faraway states and they can't get over here to get a plant tour. I think it's really, really cool to see how intricate the process actually is. I kind of take it for granted because I work here all day, every day, but I get so many people that come in and they're like, man, this process is really, really cool. So I wanted to showcase this today for all of our customers, or just anyone out there that's interested in seeing how the process works. You go from bare sheet steel and tubing, and then you get all the way to the end in a 2-day process, and boom, this pops out. So there's a lot of craftsmanship that goes into it. There's a lot of hard work and effort that goes in behind the scenes. We are very blessed and fortunate to have a really, really good team. of 150 guys here at MAC. So all of our employees, our supervisors, thank you guys very much, because it is a full team effort to go from beginning to the end of this process. So thank you guys very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.